All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to show you how to create the design part of our dashboard. If you have not watched the first part, you might want to take a look at it. So this is a very nice dashboard that is actually about transportation company. So we want to see the busiest route of this particular transportation company so that we can control the resources we put in on those particular time. So what we actually checked is actually looking at the time interval that we have more traffic than the other. So right here, we actually have the downtime and we have the peak time and all of that. So you can see between this particular time to this time, you can see the trend that we actually have, right? So on a weekly basis, what we have is very important for we to know all about that. So if you want to see how you can delve into transportation company and analyze the data, this is the dashboard for you. So we have a different version of the color. So which is the white background of it. And it's very beautiful. In case you want to learn how to create this, is the same information. But we have another different one entirely that captures that information different from what we have here, which is this very one here. All right here is about the data set we have used. So you can just read through it to understand the data set we are going to use. And the next thing is for you to look at what are the tags we're going to cover. And we have done that in the first part of this video. So our concern now is not going to be much on the DAX and creating a chart, but this is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be creating those particular, background for our report. So different version of it in case you are not cool with this color. We have another color, which is going to be this one. This might some kind of capture your attention very much and all of that. So whatever you want, if you want the white background, just like this one right here, is going to be very cool. You can see different variation is what it is that we're going to create. So what about this one? Very interesting to look at. So I'm going to show you how to create all of this. All you have to do is to stick around to see what we can do together. So the thing is this, if you have not been a subscriber on my YouTube channel, this is the best time to actually do that because we have lots of reports and dashboards right here in both Excel and Power BI that can actually help you to actually grab a career in tech, specifically in data analytics. So let's do it. In the last class, we have actually created most of the logics we want to use and the charts and cards. So right now we need to actually start getting things done here to make the dashboard look very much beautiful. So what about if we have this right here? This looks some kind of cool, but not really much. So I'm going to get a tool to take a screenshot of what I have here right now, then go to PowerPoint and make it look much more beautiful. Let's do it. So this tool is a free tool inside your Windows if you're using Windows. So just go ahead and click on New. So to search for it, you type snippet tool on the search bar and you get it. So I'm going to take the screenshot from here. So just follow me. Exactly whatever I've done is what you're going to do. This is the area you have to take a screenshot. So release it and go ahead and save it somewhere you can remember. All right, welcome to the PowerPoint environment. The next thing I'm going to do is to have this removed. Do not change the size, the height, and the weight. Just leave it the way it is. So the next we're going to do right now is to go to insert, and from insert we can bring in our screenshot. Is it image or screenshot, whatever. So here comes our screenshot right here. So what we're going to do is to fit this into this particular place. But before I start fitting things in, so what I'm going to do right now is to actually make it as small as possible, just like this. So now what are we going to do? We're trying to make a design right here. So I want to get this particular one and drag it down just like this. All right, for we to be on the same page, let's just click on this particular format here. Where we are on format, we are going to make the height to be 7.3, and we go for the weight. For the weight right now, we're going to make it 13.14. So 14. So we hit enter. So this is what we have here. So it's going to be here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually make sure this particular rounded part of it is being reduced to my satisfaction. So I love it this way. So the next thing now is that I don't want to guess it. What I'm going to do is just to go back to this format and I'll go to align, and I'm going to align middle. So after doing that, I'm going to align this to center. So I have something like this. So what you're trying to create is the dark version of it. So you can do the light version, which means it's going to look very light, while you can do the dark version. So once you have gotten this done, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to first of all, click on my background behind it. I'll click on it. I'll actually right click first, go to shape. Would have done this before. I forgot it. Sorry for that. So now I'm going to click the background behind it. So it has been clicked. I'll click over here. I'll choose this dark version of it. Do you get it? So once I've done this now, we have to actually choose a color for this particular one right here. So what color are we going to use? I've given you the color code. You can go ahead and use it. In case you don't want to go into it, I can show you something very simple. So click on this and click over here. Then click over more colors. So you have this particular RGB right here. So for this particular part of the red, we're going to use 30. So we come to green. So green should be 32. So we come to blue, and now we use 33 here. Then we'll click on OK. So can you see the color we have now? So we have to remove the outline, no line here. So first of all, we have something like this. So we are trying to create a dark version of it. So I'm going to right click now and send it to what? Send this to back. So it reveals this back to me. So what I'm going to do in essence is just put this right here and stretch it. So do you see it now? So you can see this, the white space I have now is crazy. I love it this way. So what next? What can we do next? It is time for we to start creating some crazy thing right here that will actually make our report look beautiful. Okay, the very first thing I do is just click on this very one here and drag it. So once I have it dragged, what I'm going to do now is to reduce the transparency from here. Then I can see what is behind it. So do this. Reduce this part here, not too curvy. That is what I want. So I'm going to shift it a little bit like this. I have to control it this way. Then for the header here, I will reduce this. Then I'm cool with this. So once I'm cool with this, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually have this duplicated. I'll move it somewhere around here. Just reduce it. So I can move this down like this. So once I'm very much satisfied with what I have, I'm going to go ahead and have this duplicated again. I'll bring it over here. So this has to be divided into two. So I'm going to hold my control, click on this one. And the next thing is to go to the format area and go to align and align this bottom. That will actually fill this particular part here and make it on equal size. So align bottom. So it works, right? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to target dividing this. So you might use a divider, something like this here. Can you see it now? I'll just drag it as little as this. So click on this one now. Okay, just make sure I move it and create this particular little space here. Then if I have this duplicated, I will just bring this down here. This is what I have. So this particular one I used to actually set my middle, I'll have it removed. I'm going to have a card like this. Okay, we need to actually get this duplicated now. So for the rounded corner, I will always control it. I don't want it to be too curvy. So here we go. So now we have this part. So adjust it and stretch to this end. You just stretch this one down here. Okay, now we are cool with this. So I'm going to have it duplicated again and bring this over here. Okay, fine. So stretch this particular one to this end. What I'm going to do is to actually bring this down. So we can do this like this. So we have something that looks just like this. So we're not done yet. We have one more thing to do. I'm going to come over to this particular place and get, okay, I think it's still, okay. This time around, let me just get this one and drag it. So for this particular part here, on the yellow part, you make it some kind of very curvy, the last curve, then you have it this way. So I'm going to put it somewhere around here. It will climb on top of this one. So I'll make it this way. You can see what I'm doing here. So now I have something like this. If you want to control the height and the width, you can do it over here. So let's say I'm going to reduce it, increase here. I have something that goes this way. So if I'm cool with this, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to like, okay, fine. I want to take this particular circle. To have the perfect circle, I hold my shift key down and I just drag it and make it as little as I want, right? So I'm going to have this one here in the middle of this one. So I get it duplicated. So I'll move it and I'll have it over here. Okay, so this is better. What else can we do? I think we are almost done with this. I'm going to remove what we have behind it, delete. So we have something like this, right? So the next thing to go ahead and do right now is to make sure I click and Ctrl A to highlight every single thing I have right here. So I'll go over to this place where I have my fill, drag it to 0 and drag it back to, I'll drag to 100% and drag it back to 0 and you have something like this. So once you have this, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to make sure I click on every one of those cards, one after the other, including this particular little one here. And I go over to this place and I see no line. So I've taken off all the lines I have for it. So it is time for me to actually create a very nice cool color for this. So what I'm going to do in essence is clicking on this one here. I'll lay this particular part is very important. And I'm going to put it, drop it at 69%. So 69% like this. So once you have done that, we go to the color and we fill in the color we're going to use for it. So the color is very simple. What if you go to this particular place in case you don't want to go ahead and do something, much more time consuming. So we do 64 for everything. 64. This is what we have. I click on OK. So you can see what I have now. Cool, right? So if I release it, I have something that looks just like this. So what about this? Okay, what can we do to make it better in case this is not really looking nice or looking cool the way we like it? So what else can we do? So you can decide to actually add some kind of, let me click on this one here now. I'll go over to this particular effects and I'll click on shadow. And over here, I can decide to actually add this particular one that says offset center. So we add it. So if I step up from here now, you can see it actually pops out from the background a lot. So if this is what you're looking for to see better, you can go ahead and create something like this. If you want it flat, just leave it the way it is right now on the card. But if you want this something like this, you can always reduce what you have here. So let's say you can increase. Let's see. Can you see it? You can reduce and do something like this. That is 85. 85 looks cool. So you can actually go ahead and format painter here, you copy and give it to every part of your work here. This is cool. So it is time for you to decide on the color we are going to be using on our charts and stuff like that. And we use that color on one single card right here. But before then, let us talk about this. So on this one here, I'm going to choose a particular color from here. Let's go with this particular color. This looks too bright. So I'm going to use a darker version of it. No, just switch between these ones. So let us look at this. This looks better. Okay, it is time for you to play around with the color we're going to be using next. And the color I would like to use would be something like a red. Is it orange? I don't know. I'm not good at colors. So let's see what color it is. It's pink. So we're going to use pink color. So to use that pink color, click over here and let us choose the color code that will be general to everyone. So it's not every person that will have hex code. Like this one here does not have hex code. We can use the RGB to actually, tell what color we're going to use, how to actually format it. So for the RGB here, it's going to be 233 for the red. And for the blue, it's going to be 29. Then for the, okay, that's for the green. Then for the blue right now, we go for 99. So here we have gotten it. So in case you're not really going to be cool with this, if I click on OK now, you can see what I have. So I'm going to remove this from the transparency that we have it. So I'm going to put it on 0%. So if I am done, I can go ahead and give it to this one. So should you are not really satisfied with what you have, you want to have a brighter version or a darker version, what you do is to actually come over here and remix your color. So shift this around. Shift this around. This gives you dark versions. Please look at this particular place here. It gives you the current and the new version you have just generated. So if I do this now and I click on OK, you can see what I have. Two versions of the same thing. So what if I want to use this? This one for the top one, this one for the bottom one. Beautiful, right? Okay, I'll come over here now because this one depicts when the traffic is high. So I want to go with this particular color, but I'm not cool with that. So I'll choose more colors. I'll mix my color over here to look more bright. So click on OK. So now I'll go to the solid line here. That for the outline, I'll choose a dark version, something dark. So I'm going to actually increase the point from here to 2 points, or let's say to 3 points. 3 points looks great, right? So I'm going to touch this one here. This is crazy. So what I'm going to do right now is to select from this color. Let's go with this color here. So I'm going to select the same color. That is this very color here. And this time around, if I go over here, I'm going to choose this color like this. So you look at this now. Cool. Okay. Now that we have gotten this done, what else can we do? So we have to export this and take it to a Power BI. That is what we can do. But if you look at it here, there is some kind of awkward thing that is going on. So which means we don't have proper alignment here and here. So we need to fill in that gap. So what can we do? I can actually click on this one and hold my control key to click on this one. And let's go to align and we choose align here. So this align should be align center. So now it has corrected this for us. Always try as much as you could to do that. It's very important. Okay. So once we have done this, the next thing we have to do right now is to actually decide to create a white version of it, which I believe anyone can do. So all you have to do is to right click and click on this particular duplicate of it. So on the duplicate part of it, what you can do right now is to choose the color you want to use. So for the duplicate, I would still love to use these particular colors here, but I'll choose on the main background here. Not this, not the card, the background before we put in a card. So I'll just go ahead and say format. Under the format, I can choose how I want to format my background. This color here looks beautiful. Then for the white, I'm going to use main white color, just like this. So you can see for this one right now, this is not cool. So what should I do? I can decide to change it to a different color. Let's go with this color here. So what about this? This looks cool, right? So once I have this done, I love it. I'll go over to this particular place and I'll click here. I'll just reduce it to have more of this particular kind of design. So double click on this one, give it to this. So now we have to work on this one here. We click on this and let's go with something like this. Choose from the list until you are very much satisfied with what you have. So I love this, but not too much. Let's go with this one here. So if we have done that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to click on this one, scroll down and choose something like this. Then go ahead and do the same thing to this one as well. Choose the same thing. Okay, we have this right now, and this looks some kind of cool. So we have the white and dark and white, dark and white. Okay, what else do we do? I want to use the dark version of it instead of the white version of it. So what I'm going to do right now, I will go to File. From File, I'll click on Export, and from Export, click on this one. I'm going to use the PNG version of it. So you can see I have some over here before. So why would I use that? So click on File, go to Export. So here you have two choices, the PNG, the JPEG. And if you want to have a different version of it, you can click on this particular Save as another file type. So I'm going to click on the JPEG here. And I'll choose to use the DB1. Okay, I'll save it. I'll choose just this one. We are done. Let's go to Power BI. All right, we are right here on the Power BI environment. The very first thing I'm going to do is to click on this browse. So we have it. So we need to locate that. I'm going to click on all files, all files. Okay, I think this one here. So here we go. So nothing seems to look good here, but it's okay. Don't get panicked. This is exactly what we want, and it has returned exactly what we wanted to have for us, but it's not beautiful at all. So what can we do? Which means we need to actually create some formatting. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to actually click over here and change this to a different color. Let's go to this. And I'm going to use this. That pops. So we come over here now. So we do not have for this. What about we creating the category label? And now we change the color to this one. So it's not showing up very well now. I can just adjust it. Move this up a little bit. That shows off our category label for us. This is cool, right? So we do the same thing to this one. The category label should be turned on and the color should be changed to this particular one, if I'm not mistaken. No, that is not it. This very one. And we go to our colored value and we change our colored value to a white version of it. So once we have this, we are cool. So for this one here, you Control A because it's actually a text from card. So we do this. Go with this one here. So now you can see it's taking its shape. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is that this one here, the category does not really reflect very well. So what I'm going to do is to actually increase something like this. So click on this one and just increase it to 11. That is cool. Okay. If we have done this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to click on this particular one right here to make a change on what we have here. Okay, the very first thing I'm going to do to keep things easy, I'm going to filter my chart and it looks just like this. So we can create a lot of things here. So first of all, go to line. And once you get to line here, you can choose anything you want. So here we have this. You can decide to use a smooth line. So the smooth line looks more beautiful at it. Okay. So what about the color? When we click on this now, we have the color. I can choose this particular one to be this. So we have this color. So if I open shade area, so we can control how the transparency should look like. Maybe we want something like this, but now we don't want something like that. We want to put transparency on it. So we have this transparency. This is exactly what I want. So this transparency looks okay, right? So once you're done, let's step off from here. No more line again. So you can decide to actually add markers to this, but that looks very ugly. I don't like it. I'm going to take it off. This is cool. Okay. The next thing now is to actually touch the X axis, right? So the X here. So we scroll down, we go to the value of the X axis. and we choose to see a brighter color, this pops, right? So quickly we can some kind of click on the chart itself. So once it's been clicked on, we just adjust things and move it up just a bit, right? Okay, over here, if I click on it, I first of all have to go to my colored value, and I choose to use this color, white, to bring out this. And if I open this place up, I have to go ahead and choose the color I want to use for my title. This is better. So all I just need to do is to click on home and use the particular format painter to give it to this very one. So this looks nice. Okay, so we have this value here. On this value is under colored value. We can just change it to this. And we do the same thing to this one as well. So now we have this. If I do Control A, because it's on the text or box, so we can go with this. Control A, you can go with this. All right, so you can see this area looks much more, interesting to look at, right? So this is what you do. Take your time to actually do your formatting nicely. So if I release my filter now, this is what we have. So I can come over here now and decide to filter, but this is looking crazy. Nothing shows up right here. And okay, now it's showing up. So what do we have here? Let us look at the filter we have here. If I click on it right now, I can click over here to see the kind of filter. I have the route name. So where is the route name coming from? If I click over my data, so you can see we have the route here, and this is the route name. That is what we are using for our slicer. So the second slicer is actually the gender slicer. If I click on it now, it gives us the gender. That is, here we go, gender. And the gender is coming from the demographic, our table, so you can see what it is we have done there. So now the first thing we're going to do right now is to make sure the title here looks bright. So just do this to point to that slicer, what the slicer is all about. Is very important. So we have just done justification to that. So on this one right here, what we need to do right now is to make sure we format it rightly. The first thing I'm going to do is to touch the y-axis. So open the y-axis here. So go to the color and let's go with this. Nicely done. Then if you look at it, we have our data label. Data label should be touched as well. So we're going to go for value, and then we go for the color. We choose this. Beautiful. Nicely done. So this color is not really cool on our work. So let me filter a particular part, like this Airport Express here. So when I filter Airport Express, let's see what happens. Something weird happened. So Airport Express is being filtered here and here. And we don't want those filters to affect this particular area of our work. So what do? We have to remove the filter from those two cards over here, because this is actually highlighting the busiest route and the, wherever. So what I can do now is to actually click on this. So once you have this clicked on, go over to, I think it's going to be format. Then you see where it says edit interactions. So click on it. So once you click on it now, you can come over here and just deselect this one. Then deselect this one. I think this next one is going to be this one here. So where this one's on is, we can't find it. So what you can do once that kind of thing happen, move it away a little bit and go over and click on the slicer you want to remove. So now you can find it. You have it removed. That is beautiful. So go ahead and just select this one. So we can move this one back right here, right? So it is time for we to actually touch the color. So first of all, the colored value seems to look very nice on this. But actually you can do better than this. So what if we put the colored value to be on white? So that is it. That is better. So I'm going to come over here now. For this one, if I must use this, I want to go with this here. So what if I increase this? That looks better. So I can just go ahead to my home, click on this and give it up to this one here. So this is what we have. So Southline is one of the least busy route, and East-West Express is one of the busiest route we have. So now the card has been on standout. So let us arrange this one. I click over here. I go with, let's see, the third one will be cool. So that look better. So for this particular chart, we are not really cool with the color we have on it. So we want the color to match our background, and specifically this one here. So what we do in essence is going down and choose the bar. So once we choose the bar, we click on this FX here to get things done. So we want to use some kind of color gradient. For the lowest value, we want to do something like this. We can test it out to see if this is going to look very beautiful. So for the highest value, we want it to be a brighter color like this. I don't know. Let's test it out. So if I click on OK right now, this is what we should have. It's working on it. So we have something like this, right? So if you want to adjust things, just click back on the FX here. And for the lowest value, you can click on the third one here. Okay, let's go on the fourth one, this one here. And if I click on OK right now, so we have something like this. So we can now go ahead and remove the legend totally from it. So no legend for it. So you have something like this. Now, we need to know what color we have right here. If I say knowing what color we have right here, I'm talking about we are going to use this color to highlight some actually key part of this particular report. So what do we do? This particular part where we have it above average should be, illustrated by this particular color, this very color here. Okay. So what do we do in essence? So we click on the card itself. So is that a card? I think it's going to be a measure. This is a measure. A measure is actually the one that draws what we have here. So if I just go over here and search for CF, conditional formatting for weekday, this is where we have it, right? So this is where we have it. It's 0 and 1. So this is what drives that particular place. In case you don't know, now you know. So let's go ahead and see how we can actually decide to change the formatting here. So the formatting should be within this color and these two colors here. So we click over here and now we go over to our columns here. So under the columns, we click on the FX. So once we are in the FX, it is time for we to play around with the color that we have. So for the 0 is actually below, for this one is above. So this one that is below, we want to use this color. Then the one that is above, we want to change the color. Let's see what color is going to be. So now we can use the hex code or we use the RGB, whichever one you want to use. So let us use the hex code. So we're going to use E9. So 1D what? 1D63. So this is the color we have just used on our card. So we step out by clicking on OK. Let's see what it is. This is what we have, and it looks nice. So one thing that is not looking cool at all is actually the line we have on it. This line here, no, we have to change our mind on how the line shows. Scroll down to where you have reference line, and let us look at our line here and change the line color to something that looks better. So what if we go with this? This looks good, right? So do we have to show the text on it? So if yes, leave it. If no, we can control what we see. Data label, we turn the text off. All we just need to have is just the line. So the line can be used to, you can play around with the line, transparency. So we want something a bit transparent, just like this. That is nice, right? Okay. The next thing now is to go to the X axis and just do this, right? This looks beautiful. So what if we add the data label to it? So I'm going to go to data label, we add it, we turn on the color to change it, the value here. So we change the value to something like this. Okay, let's just look for a brighter one this way. So I think this looks more beautiful. So what if we click on this and go over here, and now we choose to use this one. So do the same to this one as well. Control A, go over here, we choose to use this one, right? Now it is time for we to actually look at what we can do with this one here. So with this one here, we have color that we can use. So just go to the bars and click on FX here. We just go to total and we select the total of what it is, passengers here. So we choose to use this gradient for the lowest value. We go with this. The highest goes with this. All right, so can go ahead and click OK. Just like what we have here. So I'll go over to the, I think it's gonna be my legend. So locate my legend and turn off the legend. So now the y-axis is what we have to consider changing things around on it. This is looking good. And we go over to the data labels. So we scroll down the value area, scroll down, change this to this. Okay, nicely done. All right, so this one is very simple, straightforward. So all we have to do, the line. So under the line, we change the color to this. All right, so we have this one here. Click on it and go over to your slices. And for this one, I'm going to choose to use this better. So for this very one here, I'm going to choose to use a darker version of it. So I'm going to go with this one until it looks beautiful. So now for the legend, we want to make the legend to pop. Go to the text and click over here. So we quickly go with this and that brings up the text. So now it is time for we to get to change things on the value of the data labels, and we go with this. So this pops a lot. So right now what we are left with is going to be this one here. So if I go over here now, I'm going to go with this. So this pops, right? So the next thing now is this particular one here. Let us go ahead and remove the white background we have on it. So it's gone. So I believe you know how we did it. So this is the one I'm going to change the category label now. So now this gives you year-over-year change and all of that. All right, so let's go and play around with this. I think it's the third one. All right, so guys, you have something like this. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually click on this one, just highlight it, or first of all, Control A to change everything to the same color. So I'll go with this color here. So once I've done that, I can decide to highlight this particular part here and go over here. And the next thing is for me to change the color, right? So that color is not found here. So what I can do now is to actually find a way to get the color used. I want to use the color for this one. This color should match this color. I don't want this kind of red to be here. So what can I do? I need to locate what exactly is giving us that color change whenever we click on it. You understand? Because whenever we click on it, if it is positive, it gives us a different color. Negative gives us different color. Okay. So what I'm talking about is this. Let's say I some kind of click somewhere around here now. Let's see what we have. So now we have green. Now, this is something that we have to actually concern ourselves much about. That is blank here. The blank here seems to be an error. That was because year 2023 does not have data. So to actually do that particular year-over-year change is difficult. So what do? We actually use an error handling over here. So click on this and let us look at the measure that actually calculates this. So the measure, go over to calculations and click on this one here. So this is the measure that calculates what we have just seen that is giving us blank. So what I'm going to do right now to actually solve the whole situation is for we to store this one now inside a variable. So if I type here a variable, I'm going to come here and I'm going to say result. So my result, I want to save it using underscore. Result here equals. So it has been saved inside a variable. So this variable now, we're going to use it to check if what it returns is actually a blank. So we want to return 0%, otherwise give us the actual value or actual percentage. So what I'm going to do right now is just to say return here. So under my return, I'll use the if function here. So with the if function, I'm going to say if underscore result here is equals or is not. I'm going to say if it is not blank. That less than and greater than is actually means not. So if it is not blank, so we want to return this underscore result, otherwise return 0, and that will give us 0%. So if I hit my enter key, we should be expecting something different to happen right now. Okay, if you look at it now, it has been fixed for us. And what we want actually is this. Let me release my filter from here. So my filter has been released. So what we actually want is this color to match this very color we have here. So click on it and let's see what drives that. So I think it's going to be under CF. CF year-over-year check here. So now we're using red color. So instead of us to use straight red, we're going to use pink. If I try to use pink here, let's see what the pink is going to look like. So the pink look not good at all. So what do? We use a color code in place of the pink. So the color code is going to be hash E91. So we're going to do D63. So if I hit my enter key right now, this should give us exactly what we're looking for. It should match this very one here. So this is what it is. So we have it already. So now can you look at it? This is what we have done. We have just actually transformed something that looks like this. So you can see where we started from, and our ending is absolutely very interesting. This is what it is. So you can decide to actually keep filtering to actually get different, view of your data and all of that. So the only place that is not going to affect, or that the slicer is not going to affect, is these two here, because we have disallowed it from actually filtering this. Basically, this one affects it. So if we choose male, so we see everything has to do with male gender. So this one is saying airport express, beachfront route here. So we choose female, we see different result. We choose other, we see different result. That is exactly what it is. So you can see what we have done here. Oh, that reminds me. This one, we want to match it. So we click over here. So the difficulty we have is changing this code here affects what we see. So what do we do? How do we make this happen? So we are going to click over here to select this color, and that is exactly what it is. So we have guessed the color and it almost matched our color. So what about this? Nicely done, right? So look at it. So if you want the white background right now, it's very simple and easy. All you have to do is to change this color to match your background. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here comes the white version of this same thing we have seen previously. So if you want something like this, you can do it, because already we have created a template that gives you the ability to actually have this done. All you have to do is to change some aspect of your chart and the card that brings up the title, and you're good to go. So what about this? Good luck on the journey to learning Power BI and master it to the end. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you have never done that. For now, you have to do it.